Hey guys, Shane with Monkeying Around. This video is of my first kayak camping trip. Did 25 miles, Yadkin River into Southmont into High Rock Lake. Good time, had a blast. Except for my last couple of miles was pretty rough. I was paddling against the current and against the wind, and there was a lot of white caps on the water. The water was pretty rough that day, so I didn't get a lot of video. Got a whole lot of video from the first part of the trip up to my camp. I got into camp a little later than what I hoped, but I had paddled a little further than what I had planned to. So it had its good and its bad, but I didn't get a whole lot of video around camp. But let's check out my trip. I hope you like it. Alright guys, it's Shane here with Monkeying Around. And as promised, I am on my first big kayaking trip. I just got put in the water and paddled down about 100 foot or so. I put in Boone's cave, which is over in a little small community called Churchland. About couldn't think of the place, but it's in Churchland, and it is it's a little park. The legend is Daniel Boone was there, hid out in the caves from the Indians, and this, that, and the other. I don't know the whole legend. I put in there, and I'm gonna do 24 about miles or so down the Yadkin River. I think it's like 24, 25. I've Google Earth several trips. I've looked at several trips for this, and it's gonna take me 2 days. I'm gonna spend the night on the river. Not exactly sure where I'm gonna spend the night yet. A lot of it will depend on how much I get paddle wise, how much paddling I get done today. But either way, I just kind of pulled over here to the side, and I've adjusted a couple of pieces of gear, and I think we're ready to ride. So let's get this adventure started. Hey, good way to adjust the camera with your kayak paddle. Either way, I've done a bunch of trips down the Yadkin. I've never been this far south on the Yadkin, and I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised at the depth of the water. It is most everywhere I've been so far, it's only about 12. I mean, it's like right at a foot deep through here. A lot of the places I've been, it's, you know, 4, 5, 6 foot over my head. It's pretty deep. Of course, I'm a short fella, but here it seems to be shallow so far. We'll see. This is kind of a new part of the river. I ain't never been down it, so we'll find out. But I'm doing it on I'm doing the trip on my Pelican Trailblazer. Now I'm right at, with my gear and everything, I am right at my weight limit on this kayak. Hi guys, I've been on the river for, I don't know, about an hour now. Pretty comfy. It's so peaceful and it's so quiet out here. Seen a bluebird, and that might be about it. I hadn't seen much. Far so good, what you reckon? It's been a lot of glass. I'm doing a lot of paddling, and I guess that's probably because we really ain't had no rain. Let's see if I can check. We're gonna check the GPS real quick. As the river kind of turns me around. It's done that twice. Maybe it's telling me to go back the other way and get off of it. But we're doing pretty good. I would say I'm about a mile and a half most of the Yadkin River. As you go through we'll say 64 to, as you go through 64, Highway 64 crosses over the Yadkin River and that's where the county line splits, Davison and Davie County. And from there, at least down to about the High Rock Lake start, which is where Interstate 85 crosses over the Yadkin. Most of the property is not developed, not along the river. So as you can kind of tell behind me, it's wooded. You've got Boone's Cave Park, and Boone's Cave Park to about the York Hill access, right there as you get ready to go under the 85 bridge, is roughly, according to Google Earth, roughly about 9 miles. So I'm hoping to do about 3 miles more than that today. I'm gonna do about 12. This is about a 24-25 mile trip, and if I can do about 12 one day and 12 the next, I'll be pretty good, I think. And that's not bad. A little fish in the water. I'll be ready to get to camp this evening and try out some gear and check things out. I'm camping. I've got a couple places picked out to camp. And I'll be honest with you, neither one of them I've ever been to. For this thing, I did some research on them, and I'll be honest with you, everybody said that the skirts they make don't really fit it, and I could not find a skirt made by Pelican to actually fit their kayak. And Pelican, I think, is mostly sold at like Dick's Sporting Goods. That's the place that around here sells it. And I checked there and nothing. I looked at their website, and they have some universal ones, but nah, nothing that kind of jumped out at me, we'll say. This one is going to be down the Dan River. But I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna have to wait till it warms up a little bit for that one, because the Dan River, it's got some rapids on it, so I always get water in my kayak when I go up to the Dan River. There's a pretty hill over there. Let's see if I can, hold on, I'm gonna spin you around. Little mountain top over yonder, if you can see it. It's so peaceful out here. There's nobody on the river, and like I said earlier, all of this is wooded area. There's no houses along the river. Alright guys, it is almost 12 o'clock. So I've been on the river for a couple of hours now. I got on the river about 10. It's 12. I've got about 5.5 hours till sunset. Hopefully I don't need it. I hope. We'll see. I'm gonna try to go as far as I can go today. Give me less paddling tomorrow. But so far I've not run into another soul out here. It's peaceful, it's quiet. One of my buddies called me, check on me. I got cell service out here, and I got my phone turned on. Because I got 2 lovely kids, and they are with grandma today. And just in case something happens to them. Not like I'm gonna be able to do a whole lot. I'm in the middle of the river. There's no access. The closest access is York Hill, and it's a few miles still down the river. I got some more paddling to do before I get there. But all the leaves have started changing, and a bunch of them have fallen off. We had our first frost advisory last night. I think I already said that, but in case that part gets edited out, now you'll know. But it's pretty out here. The river is wide. I didn't realize how wide the river is right through here. I don't know that any other part from up 64 area down to here is as wide as this is. I don't remember it being. It's pretty wide here. Oh, there's a pump. Somebody's got a pump in the river. Much, much better. There's been a lot of planes flying around today. I don't know if that's normal, but that's probably the 12th or 13th plane I've seen. Of course, I'm about an hour north of Charlotte, North Carolina. There's a big airport down there. A lot of traffic comes in and out of. So I've seen a lot of planes making the trek down that way. And so far I've been lucky. Not got hardly any water in my kayak. But both legs of my pants from the knee down to about the ankle are wet. So if anybody's got an idea on a skirt for a Pelican Trailblazer 100, you've had success in your skirt that you used, I think that might come in handy. I've seen a bunch of bubbles floating to the top of the river, and every one of them seems to be going opposite direction of me. I hope that's not trying to give me some kind of a hint that I don't need to be going the way I'm going. I'm just now starting to get into, there's a little bit of a bank. It's been a little hilly most of the trek. I did find some rocks sticking out a while back. Pulled over and took me a little break. But most of the river has been no real kind of shore where you could get out and actually take a break. Or alright guys, if you can tell, I don't know, let me see if I can spin around a little bit. If you can tell kind of behind me there, I just passed one of my little, I guess, checkpoints you want to say, and the river has gotten really wide. I just come up to, right over there is where the south, I think it's the South Yadkin River, comes into the Yadkin River. The two rivers kind of meet up. And if you follow that river up, it'll take you to Coolamy, North Carolina. It's funny, the guy at Boone's Cave this morning, when I was putting in, he was trying to give me a little information. Nice guy, super nice guy, don't get me wrong. He was probably trying to be very friendly and very helpful. But I got dropped off this morning and they took my truck, so it wasn't gonna be at the park all night. I had a family member, I had my father-in-law drop me off. And the guy from the, I assume he was from the park, he come pulling up in a little ATV thing, a little gator looking vehicle, and he was asking me about how far I was going to paddle. And you know, he said, because I guess a lot of people put in at Boone's Cave and paddle down to York Hill access, but he was telling me that you know, down to York Hill access is about a 9-hour paddle. And you know, I don't know how he paddles, but from Boone's Cave to York Hill is a little over 9 miles. And if it takes you an hour a mile to paddle, you're moving really slow. Well, it takes us, when we go up to the Dan River. If you want to do some kayaking and you're in North Carolina, go up to the Dan River company. They're up there in Danbury, North Carolina, in Stokes County, and it's a super nice bunch of guys. They rent kayaks and canoes. If the water level's up, you can do a 13-mile trip. If not, it's like a 7-mile trip. And the water flows so good that man, you can do 7 miles in a couple, 3 hours. I don't know if y'all can hear that. I'm going under some power lines. You'll see them here in just a minute. Going under some power lines. And they sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. I can hear them snap, crackling, and popping. Hey, I turned my camera off a while ago. I had a message come through on my phone. I had sent my wife a picture and a message on Facebook. And just to tell her, hey, I'm going down the river. Everything's good. I went out and ate with some friends last night. And I told them, I said, let's go eat. I said, this is my last meal. Let's go have fun. So I went out to eat at a restaurant we like to go to in town. And they were all picking on me. Because I've never, like I said, done a bunch of kayaking, done a bunch of camping. Never put the two of them together. And this one I was coming on my own. So I've never done a kayak trip on my own. I've put my kayak on the lake before and just paddled around the lake some. Just goofing off by myself. But never nothing like this, never nothing this big. 20 after 12. I'm definitely going to do a little more research on a skirt because I got wet pants. Alright guys, so I've been on the river now. Working on going into my third hour. But the sun's the clouds are moving in, the sun's going down. Not going down, but going behind the clouds. Pretty day. Alright guys, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my gear. I kind of set myself up, hopefully, for success if there was a problem. I've got a, on my life jacket, and I don't ever wear a life jacket. It's always on the boat. It's always, usually it's tucked in the front side near my feet. But because the water's so cold, I put it on today just for safety. But in my hey, thank you for calling Shane when monkeying around. I'm not cold, and actually you're live on video right now, just FYI. Yeah, you'll be on monkeying around. No, I'm not cold. I'm wet. Just basically from my knees down to my ankles on my pants. Not bad, it feels good out here actually. I shredded a layer a while ago. Dude, it's a good trip. I was kind of telling you about my gear. In my life jacket, I come up with this idea. I don't know if it's an idea I come up with, but I figured if something was to happen, I'd turn over my kayak and lose my kayak and all my gear. I've got enough to keep me sustained for a little bit on on my life jacket. And typically I don't wear my life jacket, but because the water is so cold today, I'm gonna wear it. Alright guys, it is, I shedded my jacket. It's getting a little warm. It's about 2 minutes till 2, and around the corner I can see the York Hill access. Now the guy at the Boone's Cave Park told me it was 9 hours to York Hill. Well, I got in the river about 10 this morning, and here I am trucking it down, and I can see the access, and I'll be there in 10-15 minutes. Hey guys, made it to York Hill access. It is 2:15. Got out, took a leak, stretched my legs a little bit, and I'm having a little snack. kind of build my energy back up. But so far it's been a good trip. A lot more paddling than I expected. A lot more paddling than I expected. But I knew it was going to be a bunch of paddling anyway. So I'd already built my mind up that it was going to be a lot of paddling. So I kind of had that in my mind. But we've not had any rain, any real rain in several weeks. So I know that that has a lot to do with it. But the water's moving super slow, and because of that, it's just a lot of paddling. So I'm gonna have a little snack here, take a little break, and just kind of get the scenery. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. Let's see here. Oh, phone's ringing. But here's 85. So I'm gonna take a little break and I'll come back with you here in a minute. Got some mud on my hand. It's all good. I'm finishing up here, took a little break. York Hill access. And excuse me, now I'm gearing up to truck on down. My first spot I've been looking at for a camp's about 3 miles away. I've done almost 10. So 3 more, I figure I'll be able to knock that out in no time. And then I've got my eye on a second one that's about another 2.5, maybe 3 miles past that. So I'd like to make it to the second one, but it is 20 minutes till 3, and time changed this past weekend. So it's gonna get dark soon. But I tweaked up my gear, had me a little snack, and now we're ready to trek off. Biggest thing was stretch my legs. My legs was getting a little tired, a little sore, and I adjusted my feet pedals in my kayak. I just got this thing off of, bought it used off an individual not too long ago. So this is kind of my first real big trip even in it. I hadn't even really put it to use yet, but you'll see behind me here in just a second. I'm fixing to go under the bridges. You got the bridge to the old 29. That'll be my first one, and then my second one will be the railroad tracks, and then last but not least will be the main bridge for I-85 north and southbound. So hopefully, if I don't have any problems with my camera, you'll be able to see that. Let's do a little paddling, guys. Being nosy because this section right here, somewhere through here, the old 85 bridge used to go. And I'm looking to see if I can kind of figure out where it went. Yeah, I would say this little section where there's no trees growing anymore. That's where at least part of the bridge used to be anyway. Let me see if I can turn you where you can see it. Yeah, up there behind me. Now this section through here, this is where I figure it's going to be my hardest paddling. Because this is where the river opens up real wide, and it's no longer a river. We're actually turning into High Rock Lake. So paddling. But stay tuned. More monkeying around to come. See behind me, there's the power plant. I have now entered High Rock Lake. Went under 85 and pretty much on the lake now. And we're real wide out there and really slow. I got a little bit better of a wind this time. I got a long ways to go to get home. But every paddle, every time I swing this paddle, I'm one closer to the house. So you can't beat that, right? Hey, you're closer back to hot home-cooked meals, warm bed, all that good stuff is at home. Hugs and kisses from your kids. I got 2 kids, a little boy and a little girl. And they went to grandma's today. And then I think they're gonna spend the night with their other grandma tonight because to give mom a break. No husband, no kids. She's not gonna know what to do. She's gonna have the house all to herself. And she'll probably enjoy that. So if you are at home, honey, watching, you're not, but when it goes on YouTube, you can. I hope you have a good evening and relax and enjoy yourself. Because I'm gonna find me a place to tuck in here in a little bit for the evening and call it a night. Just wanted to kind of give you an update on my trip. I am getting a little tired. Arms are getting a little weak. I hadn't paddled this many miles and actually paddled them in a long time. Usually I'm going down the river with a little flow, and not today. I just come through though. I just passed the power plant and I'm coming up on the first kind of big turn to go to the main channel of High Rock Lake, the main body of water. And I'm about 300 yards from it. Hey guys, just wanted to kind of give you an update. I have turned a leg past York Hill, come past the power plant, and I'm on the main body of water. I'm on the main section of High Rock Lake, and it is 6 minutes till 4. So according to the guy at Boone's Cave, I really should be at getting toward York Hill by now, but man, I'm way past that. I'm moving pretty good. It's a lot of paddling. My arms are getting a little tired, and it's kind of funny because as I come through this, I've got a little flow. There's a small little creek that comes, or basically it's an island, but most of the flow's on the right hand side of the island, so I'm starting to get into that, and it's helping my paddling a whole lot. I'm really about, I'm gonna say 200, 300, we'll say 250 yards away from the curve. On the very north end of High Rock Lake, there is some curves. There's a curve, and right around those curves, there's some island. Right around that curve, there's some islands there, and that is that's where I'm almost at. One of those islands I was looking at to stay on, but being that it's only 4 o'clock and I'm still feeling pretty good, I think I'm gonna keep pushing forward and see what happens. But the other place I was looking at, which is closer to my get out point and would be less paddling tomorrow for me, is I don't know, maybe, looking at it on the map, maybe a mile south of where I'm where I originally looked. Over on the left, I know you can't see that, but over on the left is the island that I was looking at, probably gonna spend the night on. I was wondering, I was curious if the islands were gonna have land, or basically it was just gonna be trees growing in the lake. But most of them so far, they have dry land where you can get up on and get off the water. You ask my wife, I'm a little squirrely, little butterfly. Ooh, butterfly. I can get sidetracked real easy. Hey, for lunch I had something really good. Go out and try it. It was called Bare Naked Granola Bites, and it was peanut butter and honey. Yeah, peanut butter and honey. And my wife was looking at them last night when we were packing up the rest of my gear, and she said, "Oh, those aren't bad for you. Those are actually pretty healthy." And I thought, well, oops, that was a mistake. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy. I'd eat cheeseburgers and pizza, and unfortunately, I just had my 40th birthday, so starting to get old. But I still got a little juice left in me, so I'm not gonna go out to pasture yet. I'm gonna still have a little fun. Try to. My two kids, I said before, I got two kids, a boy and a girl, and they love to camp. Their favorite thing of camping is building a fire. Because when you build a fire, you get to roast marshmallows. Yeah, we're looking good. Of course, my boat's not tracking right, but I'm not an expert by no means, but I would assume it's because of all the weight I've got in it. So, if anybody knows the answer to that, why I guess your boat tracks worse when you got it full up of weight. But we're gonna go around this. I'm gonna pass by this island on the left, and I'm gonna curve back to the right, and then come back to curve back to the left, and come back to the right. And right in front of me should be the little area that I'm planning on staying on tonight. So we'll see what happens. I'm coming up on some houses finally, a little sign of civilization. So let's keep trekking, see what we find out. All right, guys, gonna give you a little update here. Get it straightened out. I am definitely in the main channel of High Rock. I can actually look down the lake because I can see pretty good for this at this point. I can actually look down the lake, and I think I'm seeing the top of High Rock Mountain down there. I'm not sure. It is, see, 7 minutes after 5, and I found my little spot that I'm gonna camp for the night. I'm 100 yards away from it, so I'm gonna be pulling up here any second. And I've had a pretty good day so far. I mean, you know, I can't complain. My pants are a little wet, just kind of from the knees down, and well, that'd be a good place to camp too. Other than that, I got no complaints. I've had a wonderful trip so far, and I got less than half left. I'm well into my trip. I don't even know how many miles at this point, because this was I was gonna put in at York Hill and paddle to this point and set up camp and do a much shorter trip. But when I put in at Boone's Cave, I added 9 miles to it. So I've still come 9 miles plus York Hill to here. I have to look. I'll check that out when I get back home on Google Earth. See how many miles I did. But I'm thinking about 16. Hi guys, good morning. Hey, didn't have any video for you last night. Got into camp. I paddled a little further than I wanted to, but it cut off some trip today, so make my paddling easier today. But I got into camp right about 5:30, and by the time I got off the boat, everything kind of situated. I started setting up camp. It was dark, so I didn't even bother trying to get the video camera out last night because I don't have any way of filming at night. So I'm up this morning. I got some coffee in the percolator. I had a little sterno stove, and then last night was kind of rough. It rained a little bit, and then it got a little colder than what I expected. So a couple of times I was up and down, putting more wood on the fire. And one of the times as you can see, I stepped on the stove. So yeah, it's seen better days. So we'll toss that in the trash when we get home. But right now I'm just trying. I actually moved. I had my hammock over where you guys are right now, but the wind kept blowing smoke into my hammock and tarp. So I don't know, about 3 o'clock this morning, I unhooked the hammock and slid it over here. Another good reason why you need hammock tree straps. Super simple. Couple of clicks, boom, you're unhooked. I mean, 2 or 3 minutes later, bam, I had it hooked up over here. So I'm gonna have me a little coffee this morning. I'm gonna finish packing everything up, and then we're gonna start the last journey. Now this section of the lake is it's gonna be inhabited. There's people all over the place here. There's houses all over the place. It's a big recreational lake. Summertime, there's always stuff going on. So I'm gonna finish up my last little bit this morning. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've got about 6 or 7 miles to do. And if that's the case, that ain't bad. That'll put me at home a lot earlier than what I expected. I figured I'd be coming in about supper time this evening. So we'll see. I'm gonna get loaded up here in a minute. I'm got my coffee going, and I'm gonna get loaded up, and we're gonna head into the house. Stick around. Hi guys. Good morning. Just pushed off ashore. It's 9:48. And we got some wind this morning. But luckily for us, it is on our back pushing us down the river. So we might mess around and make good time going home. But my wife had told me to take an extra pair of shoes, and so I did. And I had just got a pair not too long ago for my birthday, a pair of Merle's barefoots. And I wore them. I put them on. They were dry last night, and they were comfortable walking around camp and doing stuff right before I went to bed. But it's a beautiful morning. I had a little rain last night. Nothing big. And all my gear I keep packed up at night when I'm not using it in the waterproof bags. So none of my gear got wet. It was actually not that bad. My hammock got a little damp. And my sleeping bag got a little damp. But other than that, it was okay. So we're gonna paddle on down. Let's see if we can make it to the get out. I'm just wondering, I got a little tailwind and I've got a little flow in the river this morning, so I don't know, maybe they've got the dam opened up down in the back. Because off to my, kind of to my right, there's a dam. And they open it up from time to time. Several years ago, they opened it up a lot. Probably about 10 or 12 years ago, maybe. And almost all of the lake, except for the main channel, and there's a bunch of little coves and stuff, and Abbott's Creek dumps into the lake, and Swearing Creek, and the Yadkin River. Most everything but the main channel of like the Yadkin was there was grass growing in it. There was no water. We hadn't had no rain, and they drained the lake, and it was bad. You about had to mow the lake. My get out point is on the opposite side of the lake from where I was. So I'm trying to let the wind and the current carry me over to the other shore. And I'm gonna kind of paddle the other shore. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I put my feet in this water, hey guys, I have made it to the other side of the channel. So my get out point is gonna be on this side. And I'm just gonna kind of hug the shoreline, because that water is a wee bit chilly this morning. So if I fall in, I want to be able to get to the shore pretty quick. Figured now might be a good time to tell you about why I chose the name Monkeying Around. 2010, I had a little girl born, and during the pregnancy, they told me and my wife that she had some complications. And every time we went to the doctor, we would get a different diagnosis. This time, she might have a hole in her spine. This time, she's got some swelling on the brain. She's got water in her lungs. There was always something different, except for the fact that they told us she had a cleft lip and palate. And they were pretty constant about that. She was born at the end of 2010, and during the pregnancy, we had no idea what the sex was. We didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. So we just called her Monkey. And when she was born, yep, she had a cleft lip and palate. But the doctor seen some stuff that they didn't like, so they ran some more tests on her, and come to find out that she had trisomy 13. So basically, she had an extra 13th chromosome. And if you know anything about trisomy 13, the diagnosis is pretty bleak. So they weren't really expecting her to live very long. But she ended up living 6 months, and she passed away at home in her crib. And that ended up, that's why I chose Monkeying Around. Because we always called her Monkey. And so now, everywhere I go in my truck, I've got a little stuffed animal that rides with me. And it hangs from the mirror, and it's my little monkey. I now have 2 children, 2 healthy children. I've got a little boy and a little girl. And we tell them about Monkey, she's got a, my daughter's got a monkey hanging from her door. And every night before she goes to bed, she gives it some sugar. And that's why we chose monkeying around. Because I'm just out here monkeying around. Woo, guys. I ain't done much filming for the past little bit. Probably the past several miles. It's been bad. It's been real rough. The wind's been blowing. It's a bunch of white caps. And it's got me wet. I'm soaking wet. Because they were just coming over into the boat. I am on my last cove. I got a little cove over here to the left. Let's see, I can spin around and let you see it. Last cove right there. And about 125 yards in front of me, I've got a little peninsula that sticks out to the water. I got to go around it and come under a bridge. I've got about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles to go till I'm at my get out. I've done 20-something miles over the past 2 days. I'll have to, when I get home, I'll Google Earth it, measure it out, and I'll let you know how many miles it was. But we put in yesterday morning at Boone's Cave. And I have been paddling down the Yadkin River into High Rock Lake. And now I'm on the last little stretch. So I got a little more filming I'm gonna do. But I'm on my last stretch. I'm ready to go get me some warm clothes. It's just a beautiful day out here today. I challenge everybody. Get out and spend some time outdoors. Turn the TV off. Hey guys, I'm sitting on the side of the river, took a little break, and I was soaking wet. So I was soaking wet, needed a little break, and I had a little water in my kayak. That's the first time I've had that problem. But the wind is so bad. There was a bunch of white caps, and at times the water was just coming over inside the kayak. So, yeah, I got a little water in my kayak. But I had me a little beef jerky and some granola, and took a little break. Just sitting here, kind of admiring the view. Caught a buddy of mine. I've got a buddy that's, he was coming, but he was chicken. He didn't want to come. I mean, granted, now I'll give it to him. He had never been in a kayak before, so he was a little worried about going and doing this long of a trip. But it was only 20 miles, 20 something miles. I don't know, I have to let you know. But check out my view from my lunch. Not bad, huh? So I'm gonna gear back up. Let's see if I can, I changed my battery. And drained out my kayak. And had me a little snack. Let me get a little sip of water. I got the 4-liter MSR bag, and I filled it up pretty good, and I brought it with me. And I've still got some water left. Plus I brought 2 or 3 water bottles, something like that. One good thing about this lake is the shores are rocky and not sandy. Alright, let's see if we can push off. Hold tight. Let me see if I can get out of here, out of the way. Don't get knocked back into these stumps. Other than that, I'll just let you swivel for a little bit. Alright, let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Question for anybody out there. I'm using an Olympus 860. Tough camera, and does anybody know, do they make a remote for these things? That's something I need to Google. Reminder, Google that when we get home. Not a bad place to have a little lunch. I'm wet, but it's about 65 degrees today, so I'm not really cold. I got a cold butt. That's about it. It's definitely not mid-July in North Carolina. According to my phone, Google Maps, whatever you want to call it, right up here I go around this little curve, and to the left I should be able to see the bridge that goes over the lake on Highway 8. I don't have too much further. I'm gonna say probably about 2 miles is about all I've got. And hopefully the wind's gonna stay kind of died down a little bit. And it's not gonna be a bad paddle. Because I've been trying to hug the shore as much as I can, so that way I'll stay in shallower water. If I have a problem, I can get out and hopefully walk the shore, not have to swim. You know, every pier I've been by, these gnats are all over it. Little bugs, they're just sitting on the pier, and when I paddle by they fly off and come around me for a minute. Ooh, let's get off shore a little bit. A little shallow right there, about a foot deep. That's the good part. In a kayak, you don't have to have a lot of water. Where we go into the Yadkin River, hey man, there's a lot of places to. 6 inches, 12 inches is as deep as the water gets. If you're looking for a place to go, North Carolina, Virginia mountains, kayaking, go up to the New River campground. It's on the, well, we just hit a rock. Huh, okay. Anyway, the New River campground, it's on 21, I think it is. If you take 21 out of Sparta, as soon as you get up to the Virginia line, you're at the campground. The campground's office is actually in Virginia, and the campground and campsites and stuff like that, those are in North Carolina, because it kind of swerves and comes back along the river, and the state line cuts it in half, the campground. So they do canoeing, kayaking and tubing down the New River. And like the Dan River, they take you down, well, they take you upriver and put you in, and then you paddle back to their campground. And I can look ahead of me and see that I'm coming up to the Wildlife Bridge. So, I got a feeling that now I'm kind of paddling upstream, because the whole river flows that way toward the dam. And I got a feeling I'm gonna have to paddle upstream for this, because I'm looking at it and it's looking like the flow's going that way. But it won't be bad. Once I get under the bridge, I'll be pretty good. That's gonna suck. Hopefully it'll stop once I get through this channel here. I see water splashing, but this ain't near as bad as it was. I had a bunch of problems steering it. I didn't have no trouble going forward, because the wind was wanting to push me that way. But the steering was the issue on the main channel when I was coming down through there. Should have looked to see the weather today. I knew they were calling for rain, but I didn't know it was going to be windy. Ah, thank you, wind. I'm hoping once I get under the bridge, it kind of calms down a little bit.